Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dana and today I had it wrong. I'm going to be talking all about what I had wrong, where my views are now, and just discuss this brand that I do not think I've shown enough love to in the past. So if you are ready to discuss some 𝐿UXE skincare, let's get into it right now. So the brand that I am talking about, I don't know if you've guessed it, but it is Elemis. This is the, what is it called? The It-List Kit that Elemis has. It's on their website right now. When I'm filming this, there is a Labor Day sale. I don't think I'm gonna get this video up in time, but maybe, fingers crossed, I will, because there is an additional, I think it's 25% during Labor Day, the Labor Day weekend, which makes this kit, I think it's like $159 or $156, which is pretty incredible. But we're gonna get into it now, and I'm gonna tell you why I was wrong in the past and where I am now. So let's go into each product that we have in this kit. By the way, this video is not at all sponsored. I did get these products for free in PR, but that doesn't mean that I actually have to ever talk about them. And the majority of the time, like you've seen in my other video, I don't actually talk about 90 to 95% of the products I get in PR, but I did want to talk about these because, like I said, mind blown a little bit. All right, so let's just deep dive into each product in general. So this one is the very first one that I'm going to talk about. This is the Pro-Collagen Cleansing Balm by Elemis. I'm going to be inserting some B-roll footage, of course, but this was the product that kind of like, I had it wrong about in the past. This is their cult classic cleansing balm. It is known for its silky texture, and it is your traditional cleansing balm where the texture changes from a balm to an oil and then to a creamy milk as you add water to it. It's really effective at breaking down your makeup, but also it does not strip your skin. And that is one of the biggest things for me. I have normal balanced skin, but if you have more dry skin, you definitely do not want your skin stripped from whatever cleansing product you are using. And this one definitely doesn't do it. I find most cleansing balms are good, but some can leave kind of like a waxy residue on. This one rinses off clean. It does emulsify. I like a good emulsification. So it checks all the boxes that I like for a cleansing balm, but it adds this layer of luxe, like silky, pillowy, dreamy. It's just an experience. And you know what? Sometimes your skincare does need to be an experience. And I'm not saying that for everything. I love a good drugstore product that is just effective, no frills, but sometimes you also want that experience. Now, the scent of this, it's like this typical kind of Elemis smell. I'm terrible at figuring out the scent. I'm gonna go on their website in a second and see if it says, but I think the scent is not necessarily my favorite, but it does have that kind of like rich feel to it. So, you know, I would not use it because of the scent, because it does lend to the experience, but it's not my very, very favorite scent of all time. So this is 3.5 ounces or 100 grams, and that is a pretty substantial size. I wouldn't say it's necessarily travel friendly, which sucks because I am traveling tomorrow and I would love to take this with me. They do have the travel set of this, so if you are interested, you can get that as well. It does retail for $72, but it also comes in the subscription service, which I think most products nowadays do, and you can get that for $54, which I think is pretty amazing. So we're not talking about cheap products. I get it, $72, that is not cheap, especially because one of my very favorite cleansing oils is $12. So I am using this sparingly. I want to like savor it and I want to enjoy it, but at the same time, this is a pretty big product. 3.5 ounces is gonna last me quite a while. And you don't need a ton of it because it does just spread so easily. Okay, I'm looking at the website. It says that the scent is lavender, chamomile, and eucalyptus. I kind of pick up on all three of those, but because they are combined and then they have 9 total essential oils, it definitely is like a little bit harder for me to pinpoint, but it does smell kind of like that essential oil, like luxe spa feel. As far as ingredients, I don't really think that ingredients are like the key factor when it's a cleansing balm. You're putting it on your face for like 10 seconds, I don't know. But they do say that there is elderberry, optomega, and bee-friendly starflower oil. And then their superhero algae, Padina pavonica. I don't know how to pronounce that. And then the last thing I wanted to say about this is they do have other versions of their cleansing balm. So they have a black cherry, a green fig, a naked cleansing balm, which I think is for like sensitive skin. And so I'm definitely gonna be testing out. I think the black cherry and the fig would be my next up. But this is, out of all three, I think my favorite. And this was the thing that I had wrong. So back in the day, I got maybe like a little travel size one of them. And this is a cult classic. Like if you're a skincare influencer, I feel like you've tried this. And so I tried it and I hated it. I don't know what it was, if it was the size, if it was the formula, but it didn't feel like it emulsified. It felt like it left like a waxy residue and it didn't come off my skin. And I was like, absolutely not. This is overrated. I think I had it in an empties video where I said that, but I was wrong. Like, I don't know, and I'm always willing to change and admit when I was wrong, but I was wrong about this. This is to die for. And I wish it wasn't $72 because I would get rid of all my other cleansing balms and just use this, but that's also a lot of money, so I get it. But I will keep an eye on it for sales because I think that's the key, or when you do the subscribe and save, you get it for, what did I say, $54? And I think at that point, for $54, it is worth it, but also when it's on sale. So that is the Pro-Collagen Cleansing Balm. So we're kind of going in order, but at the same time, I don't use a cleansing balm in the morning. I just use water to wash my face. But then the very next thing that I would be using is the Dynamic Resurfacing Facial Pads. So these are powered by patented tri-enzyme technology and formulated with a probiotic ferment complex, which I love a good ferment complex. They are gentle yet effective, and they are exfoliating pads, which are supposed to help physically lift away dead cells and accelerate the skin's natural cell turnover. It includes a mild AHA to smooth the skin without stripping it. And as far as our ingredients, it has a mild AHA, which is lactic acid, and this is going to gently exfoliate while helping to improve the skin's tone and texture. So these are definitely, I would say, for most skin types. If you have sensitive skin, you never know, but if your skin does well with lactic acid, which is a more gentle AHA, I think you would do really well with these. If you saw the footage that I included earlier, it doesn't really get red, but my skin doesn't do that. I know some people's, when you like touch it or rub it, it gets red. Mine doesn't do that. It doesn't sting, it doesn't burn. Nothing that I put on afterward kind of burns or stings, but I just feel like it is a little bit more than me just washing my face and rinsing it with water in the morning. So I have started incorporating this every morning. I just use it one time a day, and it kind of leaves me with a base that is good for my skincare and then makeup if I'm wearing it later. Now, the other thing that I do love so much about this is, I'm gonna show you, but you're not gonna be able to see it, but these pads are so nice and wet. That sounds so weird. They are not dry though. One of my biggest pet peeves, I have a lot of exfoliating pads like this, and a lot of them come out when I open the package dry or like not very wet at all. And that drives me crazy. Like, give me the product. The pad is not what I want. It's the ingredients in the pad that is what I want. So these are so nice and moisturized, if you will, because I can't say wet anymore. That sounds weird. They're just so well moisturized, and they just have a lot of product, which I really appreciate because, again, it's Elemis. It's not cheap. These cost $67, but you do get 60 pads. So really a little over $1 a day. And I think that's a pretty good deal if you're asking me. All right, and the final star of our show is the Elemis Pro-Collagen Marine Cream SPF 30. So this is Elemis' signature anti-aging moisturizer. It's formulated with marine and botanical actives that hydrate, firm, and help soften fine lines. On its own, it retails for $145. This kit retails for $199. So the fact that this is $145, that's a pretty good deal. Like, you're basically getting this plus the other two for like $20 with the actual kit. But like I said, there are sales quite often, so you can get it even cheaper. This is 50 milliliters or 1.6 fluid ounces. And in terms of the ingredients, it has plant actives, including their moisture boosting superhero algae, which we talked about before, or I mentioned before, Padina pavonica, chlorella, and ginkgo biloba. This is a sunscreen. It's SPF 30. It does have 1% avobenzone, 1% octinoxate, and then 0.5% octocrylene. So those are quite low numbers, and it is SPF 30. But what I'm going to talk about with this is this shouldn't be your sole sunscreen, especially if you're going out into the sun. Now, sometimes when I'm just sitting around the house or like working at my computer, there's a window right beside me, but I'm still getting UV rays. This is kind of my idea for like the perfect in-house if I'm really not going outside. But at the same time, I do like my sun protection and I take that very seriously. So I would add a layer of sunscreen on over top of this, but this is for like your first step. I kind of think of it. I would not use this solely as your sunscreen and go about your day and be outside at all. That's just not going to give you the necessary sunscreen that you need. But just think of it like you can add, you know, I don't know, a dollop of it. I'm not going to put it on right now because I already have makeup on, but just like a little bit of moisturizer. That would be what you could do for like, if you're not really going anywhere. But when I am just around the house, I will take out my 1/4 teaspoon. I'll put it in there. At the same time, I still don't think that's going to be enough. So normally if I'm going to be leaving the house, I'll put on the sunscreen over top. And this is a chemical sunscreen. It also has a scent to it. It's the most divine scent. I've talked about this before. The Elemis scents, these are like being in a spa. Elemis is luxurious. I'm not talking about this brand because it's a cheap dupe find kind of thing. These are pricey products, but they smell and they feel and they go on like luxe products. So that is no different with this one. This one goes on so creamy, so luxy. Luxy, is that a word? I'm gonna use it. It's not quite a thick cream, but it's also not a gel. It's kind of in between a cream and a gel. So I think it can go for a lot of skin types. But if you do have more dry skin, this is probably not gonna be enough for you during the day. For me, this is the perfect daytime moisturizer. You wouldn't wanna wear it at night because it has sunscreen. So just kind of know that. And if you do have drier skin, you might need to layer things underneath it. But this would be your last step in your skincare because it has sunscreen. And then you would go on with makeup or your other sunscreen. So that is the Pro-Collagen Marine Cream. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of the set, but also the products. So as a set for $199, I think it's actually a pretty good deal, which is crazy to say, but considering that this is almost $150 or $154, and then you get the whole thing for $199, to me, that's a great deal because both of these are quite expensive. Well, they all are. But also, if I do get this up in time, this does have a pretty good discount. I think Elemis is 25% off right now. Of course, I'll link it below. But Elemis also does run sales from time to time, or you can get sales on Dermstore. So kind of keep an eye out because it's not the end of the world if you don't pick it up when it's on sale now, because like I said, there are sales continuously. The thing that I do like, another pro of this, is that this is pretty much an all-in-one set if you think about it. Like if I were in the morning going to wake up, I would use the exfoliating, if I were going to wake up, I hope I wake up, thank God. I would use, and I do use exfoliating pads, and then you could use this. Personally, I would put a sunscreen over top just because I do want more protection, but that could be it. You don't really have to do a lot of steps. I also love a lot of steps, so I do add other things, but then at the end of the day, you could use this, and that would be a really good like first cleanse. Now, like I said, it's a good starter set. I don't think I said that, but this is a good starter set. I think it is missing a few things. Like I would prefer a second cleanse, even though this is great at taking off makeup and dirt and whatnot. I always just like to like go through it one more time. Now, you could use the cleansing balm and then an exfoliating pad at night, and that would be a really good option as well. But there is no moisturizer that doesn't have SPF, so that would be something you would want to add in, but it's not the end of the world. So if we're thinking about it as an all-in-one kit, I would say it is comprehensive to a point. So, but most people watching this video probably have other products, so I think you're fine. Like I said, another pro of this is these products are so luxe. They are just so indulgent and rich, and it is an experience. And I think sometimes we forget about that, myself included, when we're just kind of like in the mood for a good dupe or something that is very cheap. But I do understand on the other side that it's kind of excessive if you can get a product that does the same for $12. So whichever side you lean on, there are pros and cons of that, but I do think that the experience and the richness and the efficacy of the products is something to be applauded. Now, one con that I do have, and I don't know, this kind of depends on you, but pretty much all of them, excluding the exfoliating pads, are pretty highly scented and fragranced. I have talked about the scent. I think it's delicious. I think I want to bathe in it, But if you don't like fragrance, or if your skin doesn't like fragrance, whatever it may be, these are not the product for you. But again, that goes with that luxe spa-like feel. The scent is part of that. Okay, so I have used these products today. Can my skin get a round of applause? No, I also have makeup on, which I will list below. But do I think this kit is worth it? Honestly, I do. I really, really do. And I was not a fan in the beginning. I would have said $72. Are you out of your damn mind? This is so overpriced. It doesn't do the job, but I have come around. I really, really like this. I want it as my only cleansing balm, and I am sad that it is that expensive, but I will be picking it up on either the subscribe and save or when it's on sale. I also think that this moisturizer is delightful, just delightful. Now, I use it with other sunscreens or on its own if I'm really not leaving the house and I'm not sitting in front of a window. But I do think that this is a really delightful moisturizer plus SPF. But I do, again, caution people to use extra SPF if you're leaving the house. And then I don't think I have anything bad to say about this. Like, there's just nothing bad. These are the best exfoliating pads that I've tried. I love how wet they are. I love that they're actually gentle. They have lactic acid. It's not too much to use on a daily basis. And I have no complaints. So again, I think it's worth it. You could also just pick up one of these items. You could pick up a travel size. You don't have to pick up the full kit. But I'm a firm believer now in Elemis. I don't know what it was before, but I'm on board, Captain. I don't know what I'm talking about now. If you want me to try out other products from Elemis, just let me know. If you have ones that you also liked or you hated, I would love to know. So let me know in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.